There is a voice, so quiet it is often mistaken for silence, that has been calling to you since the beginning. Not from outside, but from within, from the very core of your being, where the infinite meets the finite. It is the voice of your higher self, the part of you that remembers what you have forgotten, that sees what your eyes cannot, that knows what your mind struggles to grasp. And right now, in this very moment, it is speaking to you. If you can hear this, if these words resonate as more than mere symbols on a screen, then something in you is already stirring. A recognition, a remembrance, a quiet but undeniable pull towards something greater than the life you have ever known. This is not coincidence. This is not accident. This is your soul knocking at the door of your awareness, begging you to awaken before the dream grows too thick, before the illusion solidifies into what you mistake for reality. We live in a world of layers. On the surface, there is the tangible, the measurable, the jobs we work, the relationships we navigate, the daily rhythms that lull us into a false sense of predictability. But beneath that surface, there is another world entirely. A world of energy, of vibration, of hidden currents that shape everything we experience. Most never notice it. Most are too busy listening to the noise, the endless chatter of society, the demands of the ego, the distractions that keep them from ever hearing the whisper beneath it all. The call to awaken is not a singular event, but a layered unraveling, a peeling back of illusions that have been woven into the fabric of your perception since birth. To truly understand this summons from your higher self, we must explore the foundational themes that underpin it: the nature of the self, the illusion of separation, the mechanics of consciousness, and the sacred urgency of now. These are not abstract philosophies, but living truths, waiting to be felt as much as understood. Who do you believe you are? The answer most would give, their name, their job, their roles, their memories, is not false, but it is incomplete. These are identities worn like garments, costumes draped over something far more vast. Your higher self is not a separate entity, but the totality of who you are, the silent observer behind the thoughts, the unchanging presence beneath the shifting masks of personality. Modern psychology speaks of the subconscious, ancient traditions speak of the soul, but the higher self is neither. It is the bridge between the finite and the infinite, the part of you that exists beyond time, beyond the stories you have been told about who you are. When you hear its call, it is not a voice from outside, but a remembering from within. The sensation of deja vu, the inexplicable knowing in moments of meditation, the dreams that linger upon waking, these are not anomalies. They are echoes of a truth you have always known but forgot. One of the greatest tricks played upon the human mind is the illusion of separation, the belief that you are an isolated fragment in a cold, indifferent universe. This is the root of all suffering, the fear of being alone, the scramble for validation, the desperate need to prove your worth. But your higher self knows the truth. You were never separate. You are a thread in a vast, shimmering web of consciousness, each strand vibrating with the same source energy. There are truths too vast to be conveyed through direct instruction, truths that must be felt, glimpsed through the veil of story, where the rational mind relaxes its grip and the soul leans forward to listen. These are the tales whispered in the language of symbols, the myths and dreams that bypass logic to speak directly to the heart of who you are. To truly understand the call of your higher self, we must step beyond concepts and into the realm of living metaphor, where every image is a doorway and every narrative a mirror. Consider the dream where you find yourself in a house you have never seen, yet somehow know is yours. You wander its halls, discovering rooms you didn't realize existed, some bright and airy, others locked and shrouded in dust. This is not random. The house is you. The rooms are the chambers of your own consciousness, some explored, others long neglected. Your higher self speaks in these visions, guiding you toward the doors you have been afraid to open. In another dream, you might find yourself pursued by a shadowy figure, only to turn and realize it was your own reflection. Or you stand at the edge of a vast ocean, knowing you must dive but hesitating at the cold unknown. These are not mere fantasies. They are coded messages from the depths of your being, showing you where you are stuck, where you are ready to expand, where you are being summoned to leap, to trust, to embrace the unknown. But dreams are not the only messengers. A story is told of an old sage teaching his grandson about life. Inside every person, he says, there are two wolves fighting. One is fear, anger, and separation. The other is love, wisdom, and unity. The wolf that wins is the one you feed. But there is a hidden layer to this tale. The wolves are not equal. One is a creature of time, born of conditioning, fed by the illusions of the world. The other is eternal, a presence that has always been there, waiting for you to remember it. Your higher self is not the good wolf. It is the space in which both wolves arise. It is the awareness that can choose which to nourish. The most profound truths remain abstract until they are lived. To hear the call of your higher self is one thing. To answer it is where the alchemy truly begins. This is not about escaping the world, but transforming your relationship with it. The mundane becomes sacred when seen through awakened eyes. The ordinary becomes a portal. Here, we bridge the transcendent with the tangible, exploring how this shift in consciousness manifests in the rhythms of daily life. Your higher self speaks in whispers, through intuition, synchronicities, and the quiet nudges that most dismiss as coincidence. Cultivating the ability to hear this guidance requires creating space for silence amidst the noise. Begin with a simple practice. Each morning, before reaching for your phone or plunging into the day's demands, pause for 5 minutes. Sit in stillness. Ask, what do I need to know today? Then listen, not with your mind, but with your entire being. How often do we mistake the reflection for reality? How often do we dismiss the call of our higher self because it comes in forms we don't expect? A song lyric that pierces us, a stranger's words that feel like they were meant for us, a sudden impulse to turn left instead of right. The voice does not always speak in thunder. Sometimes, it is the quietest sound in the room. At first, it may feel like you are imagining the responses. That's the ego's resistance. Over time, the voice becomes clearer. A thought arises to reach out to an old friend, you do, and they mention something that shifts your perspective. You feel a sudden urge to take a different route to work, only to avoid an accident or encounter someone pivotal. These are not random events. This is the architecture of awakening in motion, your higher self orchestrating reality once you learn to trust its language. Most spiritual traditions share a paradoxical teaching. Suffering is the quickest path to awakening. This does not mean seeking pain, but recognizing that the moments which shatter your old identity are often the very portals to your expansion. When faced with a crisis, a job loss, a breakup, an illness, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this here to show me?" Synchronicities, a concept that refers to meaningful coincidences, events that seem connected but lack a causal link, is the universe's way of winking at you, confirming you are on the right path. But they are more than just signs. They are an invitation to co-create. Start keeping a synchronicity journal. Note when you think of someone and they text moments later, when numbers repeat, when a book falls open to the exact page you needed to read. The more you acknowledge these moments, the more they multiply. Every choice is a fork in the road, one path leading deeper into illusion, the other toward alignment. Before deciding, pause and place a hand over your heart. Ask, does this choice expand or contract my energy? The body knows before the mind does. A tightening in the gut, a lightness in the chest, these are the somatic whispers of your higher self. This practice revolutionizes decisions, from the mundane, what to eat, to the monumental, whether to move cities. You begin to notice how certain choices leave you feeling drained, while others, even if logically risky, fill you with an inexplicable sense of rightness. That's your soul navigating. Every person in your life is a reflection of an aspect of yourself, especially the difficult ones. The coworker who irritates you mirrors a disowned part of your own shadow. The lover who abandons you mirrors your own abandonment of self. This is not to blame you for others' actions, but to reveal the healing opportunity within each dynamic. Try this. When someone triggers you, instead of reacting, silently ask, "What part of me does this person represent?" The answer often arrives with startling clarity. Relationships then become initiations, each conflict a chance to reclaim a lost fragment of your wholeness. The modern world treats money as separate from spirituality, but your higher self knows better. Money is condensed energy, and how you spend it reflects your alignment. Are you trading time for money in a soul-numbing job? Your higher self will stir restlessness until you heed the call to create value in ways that ignite you. Experiment. For 1 week, track not just your spending, but the energy behind each transaction. Does buying that item feel like nourishment or a numbing distraction? Does your work feel like a gift or a prison? The universe responds to clarity. When you shift your relationship with energy, money follows as a natural echo. As you change, your world changes. Old friends may drift away, not because they are bad, but because your frequencies no longer match. New connections appear, as if by magic, offering the exact support or challenge you need. This can feel lonely at first, but it is the universe pruning what no longer serves your growth. You stand now at the edge of a great precipice, not of danger but of revelation. The call has been sounded. The breadcrumbs have been laid. The question that remains is not whether you will awaken, for the stirring has already begun, but how you will answer. Will you step forward into the unknown, or will you retreat into the familiar comfort of half-sleep? This is not a test. It is an invitation written in the language of your own soul. Your mind will protest, later, when I am ready, when things settle. But this is the oldest trick of the ego, the illusion that awakening can be scheduled like a meeting, that enlightenment is a destination rather than a manner of travel. Your higher self knows the truth. There is only now. This moment, this breath, this decision to either lean into the call or turn away. Every spiritual tradition whispers some version of the same urgent truth. Wake up before the dream consumes you entirely. The world you perceive is already shifting. The old structures, political, economic, social, are trembling not because they are under attack, but because collective consciousness is outgrowing them. You are part of that evolution. Your personal awakening is not separate from the global one. Each time you choose presence over distraction, truth over comfort, love over fear, you send ripples through the web of being that alter the whole. Here lies the final paradox. To awaken is to realize you are both nothing and everything. Nothing in the sense that all your carefully constructed identities, your achievements, your failures, your stories of who you are transient costumes. Everything because beneath those costumes, you are the awareness in which all arises, the silent witness that has been there since before your first breath and will remain after your last. This is not a passive journey. The universe responds to decisive movement. Today, right now, choose one action that aligns with your awakening. Then observe. The moment you take one step toward your higher self, it takes 10 toward you. Synchronicities will accelerate. Guidance will arrive in unexpected forms. The path will light itself beneath your feet. There is a secret hidden in plain sight. the one your soul has been trying to tell you all along. The feeling of separation, the sense of searching, these are the last vestiges of the dream. The call you hear is not coming from some distant mountaintop or esoteric text. It is your own voice, echoing back to you across the illusion of time. The moment you realize this, the seeking ends. Not because you have found something, but because you have remembered. What you sought was never lost. The journey concludes where it began, here now in this breath. Not enlightened, but realizing you were always light itself. Now you see, the light you sought was always your own. Step forward as the beacon you were born to be, and watch the world ignite at your footsteps.